So the BJP's top leadership is arguing that victory in the civic polls of Chandigarh is a political thumbs up for demonetisation, notwithstanding the continued attacks on the Notbandi by opposition members. Rahul Gandhi was targeting the flip-flops in the notifications and the rules today, saying the RBI is changing its rules as often as, quote, the Prime Minister changes his clothes. Let's go straight to our panel now. Siddharth Singh of the BJP is with us. We're also joined by Meera Sanyal, who's of course headed a bank but is now with the Aam Aadmi Party. Mohandas Pai is with us, as is Professor Ashutosh Varshney. Siddharth Singh, is it fair to draw a broad political picture from a series of civic elections? These remain urban areas, and you also have some of your own allies very worried. Sukhbir Badal, ironically, was one of them. But the strongest statement has come from Chandrababu Naidu, and I'm just going to read this out to you. He's, of course, heading the government-appointed Committee of Chief Ministers to move towards a cashless economy. And today he is talking about how he is breaking his head daily after the notes ban. He's that troubled. So this commentary is not coming just from the opposition, it's coming from your own allies. Is it premature to claim political victory?
Well, let me put there two things. One is on the side of civic polls, and certainly any elections, whether one may like to term it as a referendum. If we had lost these elections, people, our political adversaries would have said, oh, look at it. Yeah. The BJP lost because of the demonetisation.
Yes.
So this argument will go on, but any elections, if you win, be it even the students' election, and under this charged atmosphere,
yes,
I'm sure it's a good sign for the party, which went ahead in demonetising. So therefore, it's an encouragement for the BJP, and it goes long way. And we are going to face the challenging elections, that is UP, Uttarakhand, Goa, and all these places.
And Punjab,
of course. For the workers.
And Punjab, of course.
And Punjab. Certainly Punjab. Yeah, certainly Punjab. And now,
yes.
No, in that flow, okay, I missed out, but I didn't mean to miss out. But coming on, what Chandrababu Naidu ji has said, I have reacted to it, and let me also add, Barkha, maybe you are not aware, I am in charge of Andhra Pradesh also for the BJP
That's why I asked you that question.
Like I am in Bengal. Okay.
That's why I put that question to you.
I'm not
very
too
worried,
concerned.
Mr. Naidu.
I'm not too... No, I'm not a worried man, because I have interacted with them after this when it was highlighted. Certainly, it's a statement which is of a concern, because there has been inconvenience to the people, and that inconvenience he has referred, because he is taken it on himself in Andhra Pradesh to face this challenge, and he spends from day one an hour or two every evening talking to all the district collectors and everyone and banking officials to ensure that things are eased out. So he is referring, and he is working towards it, and he is the head of the committee. Whatever suggestions he gives, it will be a welcome suggestion, and definitely the government will act on it. But I don't see any concern in it.
Let me bring in Meera. Meera, of course, the Aam Aadmi Party did not contest the civic elections. So the full story of the Punjab election will unfold, I suppose, in the assembly elections. But would you concede that, notwithstanding the flip-flops, notwithstanding the hardship to common people, politically, there has been no disadvantage to the BJP, that politically they appear to be managing the narrative around Notbandi, because in a series of civic elections, which you could argue are now urban areas, there has been no downside. In fact, the BJP, as we saw today, has done very well.
So I think, Barkha, the first thing which becomes very clear is that the BJP is conceding that this move was done for political reasons. And I think one of the things I'd like to say is that this is a very, very significant move with very far-reaching consequences. What those consequences are, time will tell. But they were based on three assumptions.
Yeah.
The first, that a large part of the black money which exists in our country is in the cash form. The second, that a lot of this black money will come in with demonetisation. And the third, which is implicit, but I think which is being acknowledged across the board, that this money which was then got, this black money, would then be used in future elections for the poor. For example, I was 2 weeks ago in Uttar Pradesh, and a lot of people said that, every Jan Dhan holder account is going to get a smartphone and 15,000 rupees in their account. So this is the belief amongst a lot of people.
Okay.
Whether it's true or not is hard to say.
Okay.
What I'd like to say is that the panic that we are seeing and the flip-flop in terms of all the notifications
Yes.
almost on a daily basis is a sign of panic in the government.
Okay.
The numbers are simply not stacking up the way they wanted. So for example, earlier, the thought was that there's about 14.18 crores, now they're saying 15.44 crores of money which was demonetized.
Lakh crores.
The thought was that less than 15 lakh crores.
Lakh crores, I just want to clarify.
Lakh crores.
Yes.
Correct. So let's say for round numbers 15.5 lakh crores.
Yes.
The assumption was that either less than that amount would come into the banking system, and hence that was black money which had been drowned or burnt or whatever, or the money would go into the Pradhan Mantri Garib Yojana scheme, Kalyan Yojana scheme.
Yes.
Now the way it's looking is that most of the money is coming back into the system, and we don't know actually how much has gone into the Garib Kalyan Yojana scheme, which means that the math of the government was wrong. They're not getting the amount of black money they thought, so the money is either being laundered, and they're certainly not going to be able to deploy it for political purposes.
I'll put that to Siddharth in a moment, but I want the other two to come in. Mohandas Pai, this flip-flop is bothering people. We saw it unfold on these 5,000 rupee plus deposits. Today, the finance minister has said, we're asking people to, if you haven't deposited your old notes, do it in one go. Repeat deposits at this stage of old notes would raise doubts. But opposition is pointing to earlier statements by the government, take your time, you have till 30th December. Would you concede that this 50 days, 59 notifications has created confusion?
Yes, I think it's true that the government has created confusion by lack of a proper communication policy, not thinking through the impact of everything they do so they don't have to repeat their mistake, by I think being very impulsive in deciding what has to be done, and the pain is accentuated. They don't have a proper communication program. When you want to take a decision at a time of crisis like this, you must sit down, look at the impact, see what happens, and put in mitigation measures. This is what we do. And then you must stand up and have a FAQ, talk to people, explain. Yesterday when this came out, there is so much of confusion in people's mind. And of course the media also put it off, and we had opposition coming and confusing people more. I think they need to handle it much better. Have a war office where everything is done, they can answer people's queries. Have a daily briefing for everybody, and especially the media, so that information goes out without other people capturing information. I think the process has not been handled very well. There could be tremendous improvement.
Okay. Ashutosh Varshney, the implementation has been commented on by Mohandas Pai. You anecdotally picked up on Twitter that there wasn't that much support, you said, for this 2,000 rupee note denomination. Where do we reconcile, and these could be two different things. There could be economists who think what has happened is either a good idea implemented badly or a bad idea implemented badly. But politically, the BJP is showing at the moment no downswing. At the moment, in India, no one can hazard any great political conclusions based on local elections. But it is significant. We are not seeing any urban backlash, certainly at the moment.
Yeah, one should note that 65 to 68% of India is still rural. And one cannot even generalize to all of Punjab from Chandigarh civic elections. Let alone all of India. So that's simply a point that a scholar would make, someone who uses statistics would make. So let's keep that in mind. Let politicians use the narrative any which way they want, but you can't generalize. But there are the two bigger points here. And the two bigger points, they're not about economics per se. They're about how a modern polity functions. The first is that public promises of a government, of a modern government, have a certain sanctity. You cannot promise on the 8th of November that you can deposit your 500 rupee and 1,000 rupee notes up to a large amount, or all of it, until December 31st, and then keep changing the nature of public promises. There is something semi-contractual. Some sanctity is attached to public promises of the government, and 54 and 55 or 50 or 45 proclamations, they suggest that this polity is functioning capriciously, and
Okay.
not on the basis of the sanctity of public promises. That's point number one.
Okay.
Point number two, a central bank in a modern polity is an autonomous institution. It's not a political arm of the executive.
Okay.
And a bank here, a central bank changing its proclamations every single day or every second day, every third day or even every week is a sign of the eroding legitimacy of Reserve Bank of India. It is becoming a laughing stock outside India. This is not how central banks function.
Those are very,
Those are
very
the 2
strong
points,
words.
those are the 2 arguments I have
Very
against
strong
what's
words.
being done.
Laughing
I'm not
stock.
making any economic arguments. That's a separate issue altogether.
I want Mohandas Pai to
No,
come
no,
in
no,
briefly
but-
and I'll take it back to Siddharth. Mohandas Pai, you
Yes,
heard what Ashu
the
said.
Central
Barka,
Bank, India's
Barka,
central bank has
Barka.
become a laughing stock.
Laughing stock. India's central
Barka,
bank is becoming
Barka,
a
the
laughing
RBI
stock outside India. Say, Mohan.
Barka,
Yeah.
Barka, the RBI has not become a laughing stock except to the leftists around the world, including the economist.
Yeah.
I think it's very important that we are very careful about
Well,
it.
I don't know.
Please let us remember, the Reserve Bank of India gets its authority to issue a banknote under the sovereign authority of the Government of India. The Government of India is sovereign, but the Reserve Bank issues banknotes. If the sovereign wants the banknotes to be withdrawn, it goes through a process, and it has done so. You can't blame the Reserve Bank. And nobody in the world till today
Mohan.
has had 86% of the currency being withdrawn like this. So they are going through a series of issues which for which there are no precedents. Let us not judge them so badly and say they're a laughing stock, they're this. I would like some other central bank to handle such a large transaction, do it and then tell us how to do it.
I'll allow
All these are
Ashutosh
armchair
to come in
people
very
who have not
briefly,
done
then
anything
Siddharth.
useful, come and abuse us like this. I don't agree with this.
Okay,
I've spoken to
Ashutosh,
many
briefly.
people around the world and
Yeah.
I bet they don't think the same.
I have to go to Siddharth. Ashutosh,
This is
briefly.
not a left-right issue, Mohan. This is not a left-right issue,
Oh,
Mohan.
come on,
This is
come
a
on, Ashu.
question
I know
of-
where
this
all
is
the
a
differences
question
are coming
of-
from.
This is a question of
I know
how-
the differences. Look at the
how-
economists, what kind of blunders they have done. Look at the economists
Mohan,
who are
let him
talking, the
speak.
economist
Mohandas Pai,
magazine,
let
we
him
see it very
speak.
clearly.
Mohandas Pai, let him respond to what you've said. Ashutosh, go ahead.
Yeah, Mohan, this is not a left-right question. A modern polity is premised upon the independence of central banks, of a bank like RBI. It is not an arm of the political executive. It cannot be. It's not.
I know that,
Then
Ashu,
we are
you
not
don't
a
have to
modern
educate me
polity.
on that.
Then we are returning to some kind of
Please, I
medieval
know this.
notion. Medieval notion of how
This
a
is not
bank
a medieval
functions.
notion, my friend.
Okay, let me get the BJP.
Let's not
and the
exaggerate this, okay? Let's not exaggerate.
Let me
Look
get
at
the
look
BJP. Let me
at
get
the
the
law and see
politicians.
how it operates.
Let me get the politicians and we can come back to you later. Siddharth Singh, please respond.
Well, let me put this. I take serious objection when somebody comes on any channel in India and say India is becoming a laughing stock. I certainly disagree with that because India is certainly not becoming a
Not
laughing
India,
stock.
he said the
In fact,
RBI.
on the contrary,
he said the
we-
RBI's reputation has taken a hit outside the country, not India.
Well, I don't think so. Well, okay, fair enough. I had a hearing problem because of
Yes. Go
the
ahead.
echoing that was happening, and it continues happening now also
I'm
at Barka.
sorry about that.
So
We'll try and
if
fix
I'm
it.
not interrupted, I'll be in a better I'll be in a better position to answer. Now, as far as RBI is concerned, I think RBI has handled to a degree which I would say without any precedence a phenomenal cash, you can say demonetization, remonetization. Now, an emerging economy and to be a developed economy, that's where India is all about. That 86% of cash is being, the transactions of the economy is in the cash. We don't hear this kind of activity which is happening. So
Okay.
therefore, I think it's a very important step the government has taken, supported by the RBI. RBI is monitoring on a daily basis. I
What
think
about the
key thing
continuing
is
changing
the government,
notifications? What about the changing notifications,
well,
Siddharth?
let me, let me come on that. I was just going to come on that. When we talk about the changes that are brought in by the government or by the RBI during the course of implementation, I am not too worried because the government and the RBI are responding to the shortcomings or the short changes that the people are making also. For example, inedible ink. We never thought about it. The government couldn't think that the people or those who want to launder into bank, they will have people standing in queues and they will get 300 or 400 rupees to make a change, go with the old
Okay.
notes and change them.
Let me
So
get
government
Meera to
had
respond to
step
that.
in. The government had to step in for the cooperative
Okay.
cooperative banks also,
fair
because from 10th
point
to
that you
14th of
were
November, we saw
adapting.
9,000 crores coming into
Okay,
it.
so you're saying you were adapting to changing circumstances. Meera, you've made the point that the math has gone wrong, that either the money has been laundered into the accounts or it was overestimated in terms of how much existed. But how can you say that? Because there's
I
also
would like to respond also to her.
Okay, but let Meera come in. She's been listening. Meera, go ahead.
So, Barkha, I think let's look at the facts. Let's keep the political rhetoric aside. The first point is that there is a terrible shortage of cash. You removed 86% of the currency in circulation and you haven't reintroduced it, and we are already 40 days past the remonetization. The shock to the economy is incredible. We are celebrating about one municipal poll in the city of Chandigarh. Businesses across the country, farmers across the country are suffering a reduction in business. People have lost their jobs. People have lost their lives. We need to inject liquidity into the system, and there is no direction from the RBI as to when we are going to be able to go to the bank and withdraw all our cash without any restriction.
Okay.
This is something that the RBI owes to the people of this country. That's the first point.
Okay.
The second point is that there is a growing trust deficit between people and their banks, because now no one trusts their bankers. It's becoming a daily circus with the bank, and also with the political parties. I find it completely shocking, the statement which Mr. Adhia made, saying that political parties will not be subjected to any
No,
scrutiny
but that was
for
clarified.
the cash which
but then they said
deposit.
that was not
clarified. It's all
true. The
exaggerations.
finance minister said that was not true.
But you please tell me, no, Barkha, what does it mean it is not
exaggerated.
true? Are the political parties
exaggerated.
going to, look, hold on a minute. Are the political parties going to provide an account, firstly, of how much cash has been deposited since November 8th?
Yeah.
And secondly, what the names of those donors are?
I think that's
is
a
what
fair question.
scrutiny means.
I think that point is a fair question.
If I as a citizen am asked to give those details,
Yeah.
the political parties should do the same.
I have to take last comment. Mohandas Pai, if the sabzi wala and the samosa wala and the phool wala has to go cashless, then political parties have to go cashless as well. Otherwise, it's politicians versus the people. And I'm not talking about any one party. I'm talking about the whole lot of them. Mohandas Pai.
I totally agree with you. If any political party has taken money after November 8th and deposited in the bank, the government should come out with full details and prosecute them under the law as is done for every individual.
Yes.
There cannot be special treatment for political parties, irrespective of whether you are in power or not. And
Yes.
on that, we should insist the government do that. Let's not compromise. Barkha, I just want to say that India is a very corrupt country in business and many ways. We must be this shock treatment hopefully will make things better for us. There is deep pain across India, more pain than anybody thought will happen. The pain
Yes.
has been beyond expectations.
Yes.
So I think we have to lead through it for the next 1 or 2 weeks, push it, work with the government and make sure the pain goes away, and
Okay.
then make sure the benefits come to us. We have to change behavior.
Okay. Ashutosh Varshney, last comment, and then Siddharth can wrap it up. Ashu.
Well, I think banks, modern banks, function on the basis of trust. We know that. And if we can't trust the banker, we don't know how our money is going to be used. We don't know what it's worth. We don't know whether we can withdraw. We don't know whether we can deposit beyond a point. Then we are violating the basic rules of modern banking. And and ends don't justify the means. Maybe one may agree that the ends of demonetization are laudable and worthy. One may agree with that.
Okay.
But are these the means to achieve those ends?
Yeah.
You can't change public pronouncements so often and completely eroding the trust between banks and citizens.
Siddharth, I will give you the last word, and I think there's a pertinent question from Meera Sanyal there. Will all political parties step forward, including the BJP or maybe led by the BJP, since you say it's a surgical strike on corruption, and disclose every bit of donation and cash you've got since the 8th of November? Siddharth, quickly, I have to close.
Well, I'll answer Neera Sanyal's question a little later. But let me also say, when so much has been spoken about the modern banking system,
Yes.
then we must talk about the modern economy also. In which modern economy we see a parallel economy running like this. So you have to turn around and say, if you have to eradicate this parallel economy to make it into a modern economy, you need to take certain steps where the banking system cannot be modern. You
But
have
only
to
6%
adopt
of black
certain
money is in
changes.
cash. Only
So,
6% of black money in India is in cash.
Well, that amounts to a huge.
Okay, so I have to close, sir. But will political parties disclose?
No, let me
will political
also answer.
parties disclose their donations? I really have to close.
Well,
please.
that is something which we don't need to hear from Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson. The Prime Minister is already on record on number of occasions, and he has been saying of these electoral reforms, as of yesterday also said.
Okay.
I think Aam Aadmi Party will do very well, and they disclosed that 50 lakhs, 4 checks of 2 crores which they received before the Delhi election through a round-tripping company which doesn't exist. I think they will do a justice if they make that into...
I'll allow Meera one sentence and I do really have to end then. Meera, it's only fair. Go ahead. Meera, one sentence.
Yeah, so I think the Aam Aadmi Party would be very happy to disclose our 2 crores if the BJP disclosed the 458 crores that you received last year, which was entirely anonymous, entirely in cash.
Baraka,
Less than, please
tell
do
them
so,
not
sir.
to preach
Please
if
do
you
so.
cannot practice.
Please do so.
Don't preach with you cannot practice.
I will have to
Your
say
lectures from Aam Aadmi Party will no do good to this country.
All I can say is that this black
Do
money
yourself
debate,
and then raise it to us.
I wish all of you would agree on one thing. Go
You're
cashless
shameless,
and then ask
sir.
people.
You're completely
Politics must go
shameless.
cashless before they ask before
Well,
politicians.
we are not confused. The
I will
shameless
just say-
character is Arvind Kejriwal.
Okay,
Please be
okay,
spoken about anybody
okay.
else
You can
now.
leave this fight for the impending assembly election in Punjab, leaving it there. Ashutosh Varshney, Mohandas Pai, Siddharth Singh, Meera Sanyal. I will say this: if you want our people to go cashless, our politics must go cashless as well. Thank you to our panel for joining us on the Buck Stops here tonight.